I hate stuff like this. I despise stuff like this. Oh boy. Oh boy, ESPN. ESPN, what are you doing? Oh gosh, let's see. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life, all right? Ramona Shelburne, she has a take about the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. And when you listen to it, you can really hear that she knows nothing about the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. Very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And basically, if you don't know anything about Ramona, she's mostly a Lakers person. So I don't know why she's talking about the Spurs in this way. It's very dumb. It's very dumb. Skip it. Reporters should only deliver news, not opinion. It's fun. Like, you can give an opinion. You can make inferences based on, facts, based on what you're hearing, based on what you're seeing. But the opinions are very frustrating when you obviously don't know what you're saying. You know, I'm not sitting here. I never jump on here and pretend like I've told you guys I have sources as well. Plenty of people have sources. I do have sources when it comes to things, but I never jump on here and act like every single thing is absolute fact. Like I don't sit here. I at least give some type of argument based on what we see, and I can make inferences based on what we see, based on history, based on reality. But it seems like ESPN just wants to run with any narrative. And what's so gross about this narrative that they're running with, this narrative that there's a possibility that Victor wants out of San Antonio, or there's a possibility that he's going to get out of there. What's so gross about it is he's a rookie. He's a rookie. Ramona's a Clippers fan. Oh, I said Lakers. Okay, maybe it's Clippers she knows more about. She knows something about Los Angeles teams, okay? But he's a rookie. What are we talking about? Why are we at this point? What could the Spurs have reasonably done in this season to make anything happen, to make anything better? You think Dame Lillard on the San Antonio Spurs right now would just have us being world beaters? Have you seen Dame with the Bucks? What could the Spurs have done during this season to make us championship winners? There's nothing. They lined everything up. They've been talking to Victor. I don't know where this is coming from. So let's just listen. We'll listen to some of it. I can't play it all the way through or show you all of it because, copyright. But let's listen, I guess.
But Victor isn't that patient.
No.
I think the rest of the league has started to understand that now in the best way possible. So what does the timeline look like now?
I don't want to hear that word anymore.
Patience.
Timeline. Patience. Like, Damian Lillard, when he asked for a trade from Portland, had an interest in going to the Spurs, okay? He had an interest. There was a fascination with Wemby. Wemby hadn't hit the league yet, but there was a fascination with him, and there was a respect for Greg Popovich, but there was not really any traction on trade.
That is just so silly to open it up with, I don't want to hear anything about patience. What are we talking about? Patience is everything. You know, that's funny. I don't even want to play all this, to be honest with you. That's funny that you say that. You said our boy Danny Green was the only logical one because he knows the Spurs. It's like every single person had something dumb to say, and then no one wanted to listen to what Danny Green had to say. In which Danny Green, if you want to know what he had to say, you can obviously go find the video or whatnot. But basically what Danny Green just said is that, hey, they're going to be patient. Knowing the Spurs, they're doing very well as far as how they develop players. Just stuff that we already know and stuff that Danny Green wouldn't know personally. I just couldn't believe that they sat here and just talked as if it was fact. And when you actually listen to what they're saying, they're not saying anything. They're just talking, dude. It's so frustrating. It's just dumb. Even Mikas is upset. Kitty, yeah. Cat butt, yeah, that was a cat butt. A nothing burger, a whole nothing burger. It's just dumb. It's gross to sit here and try to spin a narrative when everything. And you know what's worse? You know what's even worse? about all of this whole thing is that the idiot Spurs fans, okay, not most Spurs fans, but the idiot ones, the idiotic ones, the ones that's been holding on to grudges since like the 90s, right, with Popovich and the Spurs, they run with what ESPN reporters have to say, but then they will completely ignore anything Danny Green had to say. It's insane. You know why I sit back and I am so adamant that everything's okay? Because I base it off of what most people that are associated with the Spurs have said. I base it off of what Wemby has said. Sure, you can lie, whatever, but that's what I base it off of. What Wemby has said, what Popovich has said, how they seem to be speaking the same language, what our owner has said, what people around the organization has actually said. I don't know. I base it off of the fact that Wemby was excited when coming to the Spurs. It's just silly. It's just silly, man. You got to build organically. There's no way that Wemby doesn't understand that. He's not dumb. The Spurs have communicated that to him. It's just not time to panic. I don't know what the Spurs could do right now that would just change everything around. Wemby wanted to come to San Antonio for the culture. He wanted to come to San Antonio for Pop. He wanted to come to San Antonio to learn. And I don't know if Wemby could get as good as he is right now, as quickly as he got to right now, if it weren't for going to the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, they have taught him up. He looks night and day from day one with San Antonio to now. So I don't know I don't know. I just feel like if you're a Spurs fan and you're going based off of what ESPN Talking Heads has said, what's there to say, you know? You're just going to agree with them no matter what. So they want San Antonio to trade for LeBron, Jokic, Tatum, and Luka, bro. Like, you can make the same mistake that, I don't know, the Cavaliers made. You can do it if you want. You can try to. Don Johnson, what does patience look like in the real world? Being diligent, I don't know, bringing up your skill level, being patient with yourself, working towards something. I mean, that's patience. I don't know what you mean. We don't claim those fans. They're pathetic. Both ESPN and Fox been saying that Wemby will probably be a Laker in the future. They would love for Wemby to be a Laker in the future. They will love it. It's just silly, dude. And a lot of these Spurs fans, I wonder if they're even fans. It seems kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. I don't know if there's fans out there that just want to be like seen as different or seen as smart because you went against the grain, because you're contrarian. I don't know if there's just some gripe that you've had with San Antonio for a very long time. Now that they're losing, you can finally verbalize, you know, those concerns and be taken seriously. And it's like, do you even want Wemby on the team? It's really strange. Because a lot of those fans, they're the same ones that didn't want to tank. They always have the wrong take on stuff. They didn't want to tank for Wemby to begin with. They wanted DeAndre Ayton. Like they didn't want to tank. Like I don't know, man. It's so short-sighted. And Wemby has been, one thing people don't keep in mind is like Wemby's skill level, how he got to the point that he is right now. It took patience, a lot of patience. It's not that he just was born this way. Like, oh yeah, like obviously he got skill and there's some abilities that were given to him, but it's not like his flexibility, he just got that. Like he just woke up with that. Like that's a lot of work and a lot of patience with yourself, right? I mean, he went to an organization that was in shambles, okay? But he made him into a championship team or a championship caliber team. But hey, that's patience. But I in the NBA level, like I think he has enough positive words in his ear where he's not that concerned. He's very honest. Obviously, he wants to win. Why would he not want to win? But the questions that's asked to him are heinous, man. Just like Shaq coming out, like when Wemby just got to the league, it was like, how long are you gonna wait before you ask for a trade? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Ah, man. Anyways, got to give it to OKC for playing their cards right with their rebuild. Yeah, I mean, the Spurs are doing the same thing. We just got to, I'm not that concerned. We have all the picks lined up. The Spurs have the draft capital. They have the cap space. And they constantly make, for the most part, good draft picks. Or they pick really good draft picks. And people can say, well, what about this player? What about this player? Please, I beg you, go to any team in the NBA, and I promise you, you will not see as much. You will see just as much. The best case scenario, you'll see just as much, if not better, drafting than the San Antonio Spurs have done. I guarantee it. Actually, look around the league and look at how many players that have made it, that was drafted by a team and have made it. The Spurs constantly have guys come through San Antonio that end up being decent role players or just decent players in the NBA in general. It's because their drafting is so good. You have those anomalies. Don't get me wrong. You have those anomalies. Second round picks, sometimes those don't pan out. Wise Camp, whatever. Sometimes they don't pan out. But like you have very few. Very few. I'm praying Brian Wright gets it right with the upcoming draft. You can't really go that wrong with this upcoming draft, right? I guess you can, but at this point, how I feel, Topic would be a wrong move, right? That would be going wrong. I think that would be the wrong move. You see Draymond hyping Wemby? No, I didn't, but we need to look at that. But enough of this. I don't even want to go through the whole thing. I'm sorry. I said I would. I don't know if I promised I would, but this is terrible. This is god awful. Just follow me on Twitter and you can scroll down and find it. Or just go to Dusty Garza, honestly. He posted it, but it's gross.